you on the Kidsstoppress Book Club Hangout. Would you like to tell our young readers a little bit about yourself?
Hi guys, I'm Anusha Subramanian and I'm a writer. Currently I'm in high school, I'm in 11th standard and I've published 2 books till now. Yesterday was the launch of my second book called Never Gone. It's a young adults novel.
That's amazing, Anusha. Congratulations
Thank
on the launch of your book.
you.
So when was the point that you knew that you wanted to write?
I don't think there was like one point because like around the time that I wrote my first book when I was 12, my dad was also writing a book. And I think, that just kind of showed me that it's not that hard to get into the writing circle. So I thought, okay, let's just try it. So I started writing basically without having an end result in view. I didn't want to like get it published. I just wrote because I wanted to. And then by the time I finished writing, I think I'd grown up a little more and I was like, okay, let's try getting this published.
So
So
how did
that
you
was
manage writing with school?
so actually in when I wrote my first book, I was in 7th standard. So there wasn't really too much academically to balance. It was just and also like I think it's more because of the fact that writing is like relaxation for me. So it's not actually work, so I don't have to find time for it. I just basically I do it in my free time. So what I would do otherwise in a free time, I end up doing writing, and it's at night or when I'm just trying to wind down after a long day or something. So there's always time for it in a way like that.
That's amazing. So your first book was about mythology and fantasy, and your second book
Right.
is more towards the young adult.
Hmm.
So how come the difference in both?
So there was a gap of around 4 years between my first book and my second, and so I feel like I grew up in that process, and I felt like I wanted to write something that I could relate more with. So when I was younger, when I was 12, it was kind of easier for me to create a world of my own. Rather than write about things that are happening in real life, because that way I could come up with creative solutions to problems, make my characters like they are, that
Wild
it need
imagination.
not be realistic, as such. So that kind of appealed to me then. But right now I felt like I want to have something more emotional, more intimate, more where I can connect with readers. And I feel like words, the main point of words is to do that. So I wanted to do some actual good writing, and so I came up with young adults. And also Penguin specifically wanted me to do a book like this because they thought I would be good at it, and I was super excited by that prospect. So I was like, sure, yeah.
That's amazing. So what inspires you to write? Is there something that drives you to write, or
So writing's always been something I've loved. Sorry, I can't hear you.
how did you get the love for writing?
I think it was because of reading, honestly. I think because when you, at least for me, everybody in my family except my dad reads. So, when I was, ever since like childhood, it's been inculcated in me to read, and I've always grown up reading a lot, like a lot. Like that used to be my, wind down time and stuff. So I think at some point I just wanted to also write. So when when I have writer's block or something, and I read other people's novels that I really like, then I get inspired, like, okay, I want to write something like this, and then I start writing again. So it's more like that.
Oh, so what was your dad's reaction when you wrote your first book?
He was very proud, of course, but honestly, he was also a little surprised because he says that it took me so long to write a book, and now his daughter's written one in such a young age. But yeah, I honestly don't think anybody expected me to actually go through with it. It was like a childish whim or whatever. So all of them were kind of pleasantly surprised to know that it worked out fine. Yeah.
So did you show him your writing, or did you show it to him once the entire piece was ready?
No, so the cool thing is in the first book, I was like 12, so I was wondering what to do, I didn't know what to do. And so I used to get super excited when I used to finish even like 1,000 or 10,000 words. So every time I finished that, I would show it to them, ask them for inputs, like, oh, do you like it, and all of that. But this book, Never Gone, the recent one, they didn't know what the book was about at all till I finished the manuscript. Like I kept them, my
No
parents.
feedbacks or no input from anyone.
Yeah, nothing. So I kept them totally out of the loop. Like in fact, I told all the people from Penguin, like my editors, cover, everything. I told them keep them out of the loop because I just want to do this by myself. So I wanted everything to go through me first.
So
So
after it came through, after you showed it to your publishers, did you have to make any changes, or were they major or minor?
So the way this worked was Penguin is so good at what they do. I mean, I was really really impressed. It's so we there was like a whole connected thing through the process. So before I even started writing the book, they guided me a lot in terms of how I should plan it, because I'm always the kind of person who just writes and see where the writing takes me, kind of a thing. But this one, they really made sure that I planned my characters. I did some planning basically. They didn't touch my planning, but they made sure I did it before I started writing the book, which I think helped immensely. Because that's the reason I'm very proud of the characters in this book, because it made me do a lot of work beforehand. So it was a very so I was in touch with my editors through the entire process, and then when I sent the draft to them, they were pretty happy with it, because I wanted to know the reaction as a reader and then as a editor. Like, how do you think it was as a reader? And now if you want to make any corrections. And yeah, they had pretty good inputs though. So I had a very clear idea I think both of us had a very clear idea of what we wanted the book to be at the end. So it was good.
About the book?
Sorry?
Do you want to tell us a little bit about the book?
Okay, so the book is a young adult's fiction, and it's about a group of friends. And then when something alters their daily lives, it's about a set of experiences that they go through, which kind of shapes them into who they really are. Like, they find their place in the world, kind of a thing. I wouldn't consider it a coming of age or any such thing, though. It's just I intended it to be a feel-good book. So yeah.
That's amazing. So what would you have to say to children who have ideas but are scared to tell their parents about it? How would you encourage them to go up with it and tell their parents?
I think they should just do it, because I can't think of a single parent who would tell their child not to do it, honestly. Because it's a great thing. I feel like writing in its sense, it's so good. It's so creative. The process is only so, it helps you grow as a person. So I can't think of a single parent who would not let their child live that dream. So if they really want to write, I think you just have to go ahead and do it, because as far as I'm concerned, I think anybody can write, honestly. Because you don't need like a great vocabulary or flowery language or any such thing to be a good writer. Because as long as you tell your story well, it's fine. You don't need to have good literature. Yeah.
Do you ever fear that you'll fail?
Yeah, all the time. I'm a teenager. I think that's half my brain used up in that. But
So
I
then
feel
how
like
do you tackle
that. Sorry?
How do you tackle that? How do you handle it?
Oh, I'll let you know when I come up with a good way to tackle that.
Okay.
But right now I'm just winging it, basically.
So what are your plans next? Are you still looking at writing, being a writer completely, or are you looking at something else also?
No, I don't think I'll ever take up writing as a career as such. Because I feel like as soon as it stops being something that I love and I do for fun, I'm not going to be able to be 100% invested in it. I'll be doing it for all the other reasons, like for money, or because I want people to like me or something like that. Like, it won't be because I just want to write. Okay. So more, I think I'll go into sciences or something like that. But I would always want to keep writing. Yeah.
That's amazing. How do kids your age react to someone who has accomplished so much at the age of 12 and 16?
Actually, it's like, this is the age of overachievers in a weird way, because from a very young age, we are made to do a lot of things that, not to build our resumes or anything like that. So people have been very, very nice to me till now. Like, they always appreciate whatever I've done, and, they are very proud of me in general. And I have great friends and family who've always been there with me for everything. So that way, it's been really nice. And plus, I think it works more in terms of self-validation, because I work with a lot of positive reinforcement in my life. So it helps to know that whatever I do from now on, I will still have these 2 books to my name. Like, I have done something. So it's nice to know that I have a good foundation. So in case I do fail sometime in the future, this is not going to be taken away from me.
That's amazing. So if we were to expect another book from Anusha Subramanian, when can we expect that?
Not for a little while though, because I'm just still struggling with IB, figuring out where I am in 11th, all of that. But I would definitely want to write. So as soon as I get an idea, I think I'll start writing.
Are you looking at different genres to look at to write?
Sorry, no. I think I really love this genre. So I'll probably explore it a little more before moving on.
That's interesting. Any tips for our little readers, or any
Uh,
suggestions as to how they can start writing if they want to pick up writing as a hobby or a career?
I think writing is a very, very liberating, and I just feel like even if you don't show a single person what you've written, it's still worth it to write it, because the very act of like putting everything in your mind onto paper just makes it so much more easier. So even if you write, I don't think there's anything like bad writing. I mean, there are just people who understand your writing and people who don't. So even if not a single person sees what you write, you should still write it for yourself. And if what you're writing anywhere is not true to yourself or something that you don't want to write, then you're doing it wrong. So
Thank you so much, Anusha.
thank
Just one
you.
last question. When you got bad criticism on your books, did it affect you?
I don't think people were being very mean to me because of my age, but I have got criticism, and in fact, I owe it to all those people who gave me that constructive criticism, which were all of them were very valid, by the way, which helped me make this book much better, honestly. Because the biggest I think criticisms I got were that one was that there was too much food in my book. In my previous book, because I was a kid, and whenever I didn't know what to put in, I would be like, okay, let them go eat food now. So and the second was that my characters, this was something I kind of realized myself, that the characters were always white or black. Like either they were, the good ones were really good and the bad ones were really bad.
There's
But
no between.
exactly, so but in humans are not like that, right? Like they are gray, which is why I think I love writing this book, because all of them are gray. So even there's no bad person, and it's just that there's so much scope for development, and it's basically the choices that define who you are, right? So it was a lot of fun to work with characters who are gray, who have weaknesses and strengths, because that makes them so much more realistic and fun. So
That's amazing.
that
I'm
was
really
fun.
looking forward to read your book, Anusha.
Let me know how you like it, though.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being here today.